3, 2, 1. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the South Carolina Public Service Commission. We are here this morning on docket number 2025-2276-E. All commissioners are present in the hearing room this morning. Ms. Clausen, if you would explain the purpose of today's hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, the hearing before you today is in docket number 2025-276E. Docket number 2025-276E concerns the application of SR Cordova, LLC for a certificate of environmental compatibility and public convenience and necessity for the construction and operation of a 100 megawatt solar facility in Orangeburg County, South Carolina. This application is filed pursuant to the South Carolina Utility Facility and Environmental Protection Act, which is Chapter 33 of Title 58 of the South Carolina Code annotated. The hearing in this docket continues from January the 6th, 2026, to receive witness testimony and other evidence from the parties of record in this docket. Should the hearing today need to carry over to another day, the hearing will continue after today at the call of the chair. Mr. Chairman, upon inquiry of all participating counsel and parties of record, the parties of record are present with witnesses and ready to proceed when called.
Thank you very much, Ms. Clausen. Now let's hear appearances from the parties. From the applicant, Mr. Adams, who do you have with you?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, Weston Adams with Nelson Mullins. I've got Robert Josie from our Raleigh office with me. Also, Connor Eccles is with Silicon Ranch. He's here in the courtroom with us. And Blair Wade with HDR is here in the courtroom. And then we've got two virtual witnesses, Matt Kisber with Silicon Ranch and Matt Tanner with Berkeley Research Group.
Okay, thank you very much and welcome to all of you. And on behalf of the Office of Regulatory Staff.
Good morning, Chair Powers and members of the Commission. Appearing on behalf of ORS, my name is Claire Binge and my co-counsel today is Chad Torrey.
Thank you very much. Are there any statutory parties that are online at this time? South Carolina Department of Environmental Services, South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, South Carolina Department of Parks, Recreation, and Tourism. I guess not. Are there any matters, Mr. Adams, we need to take up before we begin testimony?
Yes, sir. There are 7 items that I'd like to have admitted into the record with Mr. Chairman's permission and with the other commissioners' permission. I can just quickly tick through those. I've already talked about these with Alicia and with the court reporter and with ORS. So we'll just quickly zip these in. The first one is the application itself, which is a 10-page long document that we filed on October the 15th, 2025. And I can pause. I can go through these quickly or pause for each one to let however you want me to do that.
Okay. Well, we'll do them separately.
Sure.
Application has been identified and will be exhibit number 1.
Yes, sir. The second one is Exhibit A to the application, which is the proof of service. It's a 4-page document that was filed on October the 15th, 2025.
All right. A proof of service will be exhibit number 2.
The third one, Mr. Chairman, is the Exhibit B, which is a 1-page public notice that we filed on October the 15th, 2025.
All right. Public notice will be exhibit number 3.
Mr. Chairman, the fourth one is the corrected Exhibit B, which is a 10-page document that was filed on October the 16th, 2025. It's a public notice and affidavits of publication.
All right. The corrected exhibit of public notice will be exhibit number 4.
Mr. Chairman, the next one is Exhibit G, is a site map and description of equipment of the facility. It's a 12-page document that we filed on October the 15th, 2025.
The 12-page site map will be exhibit number 5.
Yes, sir. And then the next one is Exhibit H, which is the matrix of potentially applicable environmental permits. It was filed on October the 15th, 2025. It's a 4-page document.
All right. Environmental will be exhibit number 6.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, the last one is a letter in lieu of rebuttal testimony that we filed on January the 6th, 2026. It's a 2-page document.
All right. The letter of January 26th will be exhibit number 7. Is there any objection to any of these exhibits? Sounds like it's been agreed upon.
That's correct, Chair. We don't have an objection.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Adams, how would you like to proceed?
I'd like to do a quick opening statement. I promised ORS I would keep this in under 2 minutes, so I'll do my very best there just to move this along.
Brief statement as well.
Yes, sir. So we are, Silicon Ranch is happy and honored to be here today. They are a Nashville headquartered solar developer. They are a Shell oil investment, and they are, they do this kind of work all over the country. Actually, the first ever Siting Act solar cases that were brought under the Siting Act, I did those cases in 2022. They were both for Silicon Ranch. That's the Lambert 1 and the Lambert 2 cases, so they're thrilled to be back here today. So the project itself, Mr. Chairman, is an Orangeburg County project that will actually supply power for Meta's data center in Aiken County, South Carolina, but the project itself is being built in Orangeburg County. Mr. Chairman, we would simply like to point out that the evidence that we'll put into the record today will establish that it's appropriate for the Commission to issue a CPCN for this project. The project meets all the statutory criteria under the Siting Act. In particular, I'll just tick through these quickly. The evidence will show that there's public convenience, necessity, and need for the facility, as witnesses Kisber, Connor, Eccles, and Matt Tanner will show. Secondly, the evidence will show that the facility will serve the interests of system economy and reliability, as Matt Tanner will testify. Thirdly, the evidence will show that the facility compares favorably to other generation options in terms of cost and reliability, as Matt Tanner will testify. Fourthly, the evidence will show that the impact of the facility on the environment is justified, as Blair Wade and Connor Eccles will testify. And then finally, fifthly, the evidence will show that there is a reasonable assurance that the facility will conform to state and local laws and regulations, as witnesses Wade and Eccles will testify. In sum, we would suggest that the criteria will be met today by the evidence put up today, and that a certificate is in order to be issued here. I'll also point out that this is an uncontested CPCN matter. The ORS has filed testimony that states that they have no objection to this application. I'll let them speak for themselves, of course, but that was pre-filed in this matter. And Mr. Chairman, that concludes my opening.
Thank you very much. Anything from ORS at this time?
Nothing from ORS.
All right, well, Mr. Adams, let's hear that evidence.
Yes, sir. I'd like to call Matt Kisber. He is virtually attending.
All right. Mr. Kisper, are you there?
Yes, sir.
We need to
Yes, sir.
see you. There you are. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay, would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you very much. Your witness.
Mr. Kisber, good morning. Good to see you again. Please state your name and business address for the record.
Yeah. Matthew Kisber, Silicon Ranch Corporation, 222 2nd Avenue South, Suite 1900, Nashville, Tennessee, 37201.
And where do you work, Mr. Kisber?
At Silicon Ranch Corporation.
And what are your responsibilities there?
I am chairman of the board, and in that capacity, I work with our CEO in developing the strategy and executing it under the direction of the board, and work with our development and community affairs teams in representing the company externally around the country, as well as in trade organizations and business organizations.
Yes, sir. Mr. Kisber, how is the applicant Cordova, that project LLC, how is that related to the Silicon Ranch parent?
Yes, it is a wholly owned subsidiary of Silicon Ranch Corporation.
Yes, sir. Mr. Kisber, are you the same Matt Kisber who calls direct testimony to be pre-filed in this proceeding on or about October the 15th, 2025, consisting of 10 pages?
Yes, I am.
Was your testimony prepared by you or under your direction?
Yes, it was.
And do you have any corrections or changes to your pre-filed written testimony?
I do not.
Mr. Kisber, if I now asked you the same questions that are set forth in your pre-filed direct testimony, would your answers from the stand be the same today?
Yes, they would.
Mr. Chairman, Cordova asks that the pre-filed direct testimony of Matt Kisber be entered into the record as if given orally from the stand.
The pre-filed direct testimony of Mr. Kisper will be entered into the record as if given orally from the stand.
And Mr. Kisber, have you prepared a summary of your pre-filed direct testimony?
Yes, I have.
Please provide that summary to the commission.
Well, I am Matt Kisber, co-founder, former CEO, and current board chairman of Silicon Ranch Corporation, the owner and developer of SR Cordova LLC solar project. The Cordova project is the subject of this application and proceeding. I'm providing this testimony on behalf of the applicant, SR Cordova LLC. The purpose of my testimony is to provide background on Silicon Ranch, offer an initial overview of the Cordova project, and highlight the strategic benefits, public convenience, environmental compatibility, and necessity of the project. I will also introduce the roles played by Central Electric Power Cooperative and Meta in the development and long-term use of the project. Before founding Silicon Ranch, I served 8 years as the Tennessee Commissioner of Economic Development, where I attracted new industries to Tennessee, such as Nissan, Amazon, and Volkswagen. Prior to that role, I also served in the Tennessee House of Representatives for 20 years before voluntarily retiring in 2002. In the House, I served as chairman of the House Finance, Ways and Means Committee and other special joint committees comprised of the House and the Senate. I co-founded, I co-founded Silicon Ranch in 2011, along with Reagan Farr, Silicon Ranch current president and CEO, and former Tennessee Governor Philip Bredesen. Mr. Farr is responsible for all ongoing and future operations. Mr. Farr is also responsible for the execution of Silicon Ranch's strategic growth plan, and as board chair, I work with him on that strategic growth plan. Mr. Farr is an experienced executive who previously served as Tennessee's Commissioner of Revenue. Supporting Mr. Farr is a deep bench of industry-leading experts in the development, construction, management, and operation of large-scale solar PV projects like the Cordova project proposed here. Among those Silicon Ranch experts is Connor Eccles, who is leading the development of the Cordova project and who will testify here today. Silicon Ranch, headquartered in Nashville, Tennessee, is a leading U.S. solar developer, owner, and operator of utility-scale projects. The company's portfolio includes more than 3.6 gigawatts DC of solar photovoltaic systems, providing electricity to the grid, with an additional 14 plus gigawatts DC more in development, 3.5 gigawatts of which will be operational in the next 3 years. Silicon Ranch currently has more than 180 solar facilities operating in 15 states. Silicon Ranch is particularly proud of its leadership in the development of solar projects in the Southeast, including development of large-scale projects in Tennessee, Mississippi, Georgia, Arkansas, and South Carolina. Silicon Ranch is currently developing the Lambert 1 and 2 projects in Georgetown County that were approved by this commission in 2022. Silicon Ranch has a seasoned approach that sets it apart from other developers. Since our founding in 2011, Silicon Ranch has successfully completed development of every project for which it has signed a power purchase agreement. Silicon Ranch and its subsidiaries also own and operate our entire portfolio. As a long-term owner, Silicon Ranch is deeply committed to the partners and communities it serves and stands behind the daily performance of its facilities. Silicon Ranch is unlike many other solar developers who develop projects to quickly flip them. As a long-term owner and operator familiar with rural communities in the Southeast, Silicon Ranch has a strong interest in taking care of the land. That's why Silicon Ranch has pioneered industry-leading land management practices aimed at enhancing the environmental, social, and economic benefits of projects for rural communities. Silicon Ranch's innovation and expertise truly distinguish it as a solar PV developer, owner, operator, and partner. Turning to the Cordova project again, it is to be located on approximately 1,209 acres undeveloped site in Orangeburg County. The planned site is depicted in Exhibit G to the application. The project has an executed PPA with Central to aid Central's electric service to the new metadata center located in Aiken County, South Carolina. Silicon Ranch anticipates substantial completion of the Cordova project and power delivery by as early as November 2027. The executed PPA with Central and Central's IRP demonstrate the need for the project. Accordingly, the demand and offtake plans for the Cordova project are in place and well understood. On this point, you will also hear from witness Matt Tanner and Connor Eccles, who will go into further detail regarding the need of the project. The project also furthers public convenience and necessity. By its design and nature, the project will improve operational efficiency, provide clean, renewable power with minimal impacts to the environment, and comply with all environmental and land use laws. To the extent environmental impacts occur, Cordova will address and mitigate them to the satisfaction of responsible regulators. Ms. Blair Wade of HDR Engineering will provide additional detail and the latest status regarding environmental permitting and impacts. The Cordova project is poised to move forward without delay. Silicon Ranch and our development partners are ready to begin work subject to commission approval and in accordance with permits and other requirements. On behalf of the applicant, thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony and introduce the Cordova project to the Commission. We are looking forward to continuing our goal of providing the best in clean, renewable power to the state of South Carolina. I'm glad to address any questions you may have and discuss the project at any time. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Kisber is available for cross-examination and Commission questions as well.
Thank you, Mr. Kisber, and thank you, Mr. Adams. Any questions from the Office of Regulatory Staff?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner questions? Vice Chair Williams?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Mr. Kisber.
Good morning.
I was blessed to be born in Orangeburg County and raised in Aiken County, and even more so blessed to inherit some family land in both counties. So I'm very happy with your testimony regarding your experience in dealing with rural counties. A couple of questions as it relates to your stakeholder engagement and community affairs work. I'm looking at the docket and I noticed that the only thing in DMS is the application. I don't see any protest letters. There hadn't been any requests for any public hearings in Orangeburg County related to this project, and that's not always the case. So hopefully I'm not asking you to reveal any proprietary secrets, but I'm just curious to know what process took place for you and your company as it relates to community engagement and stakeholder engagement before the application was filed.
Yes, sir. Happy to address. And I will tell you the strategy of the company, having been founded by 3 former public service representatives, Governor Bredesen, Reagan Farr, and myself, has been to be a company that engages with the communities where we locate. So when we identify a site, we like to begin by talking to introducing ourselves.
Mr. Kisber,
Project made. Yes.
your mic is cutting out. I'm going to need you to repeat about 3 of the sentences, and if there's a problem, I don't know if our tech can help or not from this end.
Maybe go back to the point where you were talking about 3 former public servants.
Yes. And I apologize for that. I don't know what my problem is, my computer. So the 3 of us who started the company come from public service backgrounds. And as I said in my testimony, I was in the state legislature for 20 years and Commissioner of Economic and Community Development. Governor Bredesen was the mayor of Nashville and then the governor of the state of Tennessee. And Reagan Farr was the Commissioner of Revenue. So we bring a perspective of wanting to be engaged with our communities and wanting to contribute to the community. And so we start every project with talking to local officials, talking to local economic development organizations, and with neighbors, and wanting to share who we are, how we work. We're going to be neighbors. We're going to be involved in the community, and we want to start the relationship on the right foot. We like to own our land. For most of our projects we do, and we own the projects long term. In our 15 years, we have never sold a project. So that shows we're committed to being in the community, and as such, we want to be a good neighbor and a good community participant. And so our team makes outreach. We meet with neighbors on a regular basis during construction, before construction and during construction. And we have a group within the company that their total responsibility is working with communities and with community leaders.
All right. Thank you, sir. No further questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Any further commissioner questions? Commissioner Brett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Kisber, we appreciate you taking your time to be on the, on live here with us today. And I congratulate you on your record of service, especially 20 years in the House in Tennessee, and as chairman of basically economic development in the state of Tennessee. And the team that you've got assembled behind you that you've testified to is a strong group. I too served for a long time in Spartanburg County, and did a lot with economic development. And relationships are very, very key to success. For every project and every company. So yours is very, very strong. I have a couple quick questions. Will you own the property? You mentioned that y'all like to own the property. Will you own the property in Orangeburg?
Yes, sir, we will.
Okay. Has Orangeburg County Council offered you any incentives to come to South Carolina and Orangeburg?
Yes, we have negotiated a payment in lieu of tax agreement, and it was it was approved in 2022, and it was renewed in 2024.
That's good. It shows a strong statement of support by Orangeburg County Council. And the last thing I have, last question, I know Orangeburg County abuts Aiken County, but what made you decide to go in Orangeburg versus Aiken, where the Meta facility is?
Well, I can say in general terms, Connor Eccles, when he testifies, could probably be more specific. But in general, I would believe that the availability of land, the availability of transmission, and capacity probably played a role. But I would like to defer to Connor Eccles when he testifies as to the specific reasons.
All right. That's all my questions. Thank you, Mr. Kisber.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any further commissioner questions? Hearing none, Mr. Kisber, you may step down.
Can I just
Thank
have
you
one?
very much, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Kisberg, can I have just one little question just to follow up on?
I'm sorry, I did not ask
that's
if you
okay.
wanted to redirect. Go ahead.
No worries. Mr. Kisber, I was just sitting here confabbing with Connor Eccles while you were talking, and Connor explained to me that actually the property is right now is half leased, half owned. And Connor can give more details on that when he testifies, but I just want to make sure that that you are aware of that from Connor's explanation to me.
I appreciate that. I was not completely aware of that. So
I understand. You got a lot on your plate. I totally get it. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to, we're going to keep the other three witnesses around, but I would like to let Mr. Kisber be excused if that's all right.
At his own risk.
Yes, sir.
certainly.
We'll take the risk.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, I'll call Connor Eccles.
Mr. Eccles, come around and be sworn.
You can take that nameplate with you. Yeah, that's right. Perfect.
the mic on?
Yes.
You're on. And Mr. Eccles, you can move that mic anywhere you want. It's
Thank you.
portable.
All right. Thank you so much.
Would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you'll give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Eccles, please state your name and business address for the record.
My name is Connor Eccles, and my business address is 222 2nd Avenue South, Suite 1900, Nashville, Tennessee 37201.
And who do you work for?
Silicon Ranch Corporation.
Yes, sir. And what are your responsibilities with Silicon Ranch?
I'm a senior director of project development. My responsibilities are over siting, diligence, and permitting of our projects. I've been with the corporation for about 7 years.
Got it. And Silicon is the parent company of the applicant, SR Cordova, correct?
That's correct.
And what are your responsibilities with respect to Cordova?
I am the lead developer, project developer. So I am responsible for citing the project, doing the site diligence, and the permitting for the project.
Got it. Are you the same Connor Eccles who calls direct testimony to be pre-filed in this proceeding on October 15, 2025, consisting of 11 pages?
I am.
And was your testimony prepared by you or under your direction?
It was.
And do you have any corrections or changes to your testimony?
I do not.
Mr. Eccles, if I now asked you the same questions that are set forth in your pre-filed direct testimony, would your answers from the stand be the same today?
They would be.
Mr. Chairman, the applicant asked that the pre-filed direct testimony of Connor Eccles be entered into the record as if given orally from the stand.
The pre-filed direct testimony of Mr. Connor Eccles will be entered into the record as if given orally from the stand.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Eccles, have you prepared a summary of your pre-filed direct testimony?
I have.
Could you please provide that to us now?
I will. I am Connor Eccles. I am a senior director of project development with Silicon Ranch Corporation, which is headquartered in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm responsible for the initiation and development of the new 100 megawatt SR Cordova LLC solar project. I serve as development lead for the applicant SR Cordova LLC. I'm providing this testimony on behalf of the applicant to support our application for a CECP-CN. The purpose of my testimony is to describe the Cordova project in detail, including the planned site and planned operations, and demonstrate why the applicant meets all statutory requirements governing environmental impact and public convenience and necessity. Cordova will be located on an approximately 1,200 acre parcel of land in Orangeburg County. The map and site plan in Exhibit G to the application accurately reflect the planned location of the proposed project. The property that comprises the project site is used primarily for silviculture and agricultural purposes. Silicon Ranch secured control of the project site through a combination of binding lease options and binding purchase options for the land. Silicon Ranch initially acquired the project from another developer. Silicon Ranch chose the project after considering criteria such as land availability, cultural and land use, electric transmission infrastructure, environmental impact, and constructability. The components and makeup of the project are described in the specification sheets and information contained in Exhibit G to the application. The project will be a tracking, ground-mounted solar PV system consisting of solar panels affixed to racks supported on driven piles. The system will interconnect to the electric grid operated by Santee Cooper. The project will interconnect into a Santee Cooper 115 kV line that runs through the project site. A collection substation will be constructed on the site and will connect to an existing substation by Santee Cooper adjacent to the site via a short gen-tie line, all of which will be fully funded by Silicon Ranch. The executed PPA with Central Electric Power Cooperative and Central's IRP demonstrate the need for the project. The project's 100 megawatts of solar power is key to both, one, fulfilling Meta's goal of running the facility 100% on clean energy, and two, Central's strategy for diversifying its energy portfolio and minimizing power costs for its member cooperatives. On this latter point, you will also hear from witness Matt Tanner, who will describe how the project helps Central meet its need for solar generation discussed in the most recent IRP. Silicon Ranch is actively coordinating with the appropriate environmental and local regulators to obtain all necessary permits and to ensure the project complies with applicable laws and regulations. Witness Blair Wade will further discuss the environmental permitting for the project and the minimal environmental impacts expected from the project. Silicon Ranch is also working with Orangeburg County officials to ensure compliance with applicable local laws. The project does not require a special use permit from the county, and Silicon Ranch does not anticipate any difficulties in obtaining county site plan approval or building permits. The Cordova project is a multi-million-dollar investment in the Orangeburg County community. We anticipate that Orangeburg County will realize over $5 million in property tax and real estate tax revenues over the life of the project. Further, during construction, Silicon Ranch plans to use local contractors and businesses for installation, construction, fencing, landscaping, and machine rentals when possible. Also, increased economic activity from the project construction is expected to boost revenue for local hotels, restaurants, service providers, and other businesses in the community. All this investment will be in addition to the economic activity and growth occurring in Aiken County to build and support Meta's data center, which this project will help serve pursuant to Cordova's PPA with Central. Thank you for the opportunity to provide my sworn testimony in this important matter. Further, I am willing to provide additional testimony about the projects if needed.
Mr. Chairman, he's available for cross and for commission questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions from ORS?
No questions from ORS, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner questions? Commissioner Belser?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Eccles.
Good morning.
If this is not confidential, y'all bought this project or acquired this project from another developer.
Yes, ma'am.
Was there a citing application filed up by that developer at the time when they had it?
Not to my understanding.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Britt?
Yes, Mr. Eccles, Mr. Kisber, when I was asking if y'all own the project, own the property, and y'all came back and said it was half, I guess, leased and half owned.
Correct.
So, and with Commissioner Belser's question, then was that the case when it was originally under another solar company? Did just y'all followed suit on that?
That was not the case, sir. We've actually been working to convert since, as Matt Kisberg testified, we do like to own the land underneath our projects. So we have been working with the landowners for the ones who are willing to convert those lease options to purchase options.
All right. And my real question here was if Orangeburg County approved this in 2022, as Mr. Kisber said, what has taken 3 years to get it to this point? Mr. Kisber said that Orangeburg County re-upped or renewed their fee in lieu in 2025. What's caused the 3-year lag?
Yes, sir. So part of it was us acquiring the project because the previous developer had it, and we had to do additional studies and diligence on the land. And part of it was the interconnection studies with Santee Cooper. They had switched from to a cluster study, and it was a transitional cluster study, so they had to do some additional studies on the line to make sure that the project was viable from a transmission standpoint.
And my last question, when I asked Mr. Kisber, why did y'all choose Orangeburg County versus Aiken? He said you'd be the person to answer that.
Well, it goes to the transmission. There is viable transmission in this area. There are willing landowners that are willing to either enter into a purchase option or a lease option. And the county has been very friendly to this project, and we've worked with them. They've been very welcoming to Silicon Ranch.
All right. Appreciate those answers.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Britt. Vice Chair Williams?
Good morning, Mr. Eccles.
Good morning.
You testified that your company, Silicon Ranch, will pay for the entire project. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We pay for the substation and the entire solar project. Yes, sir.
Okay. And I think I also heard you testify that the energy produced or generated at this facility will support a data center in Aiken. Is that correct?
That's correct. We sell the power to Central, who has an agreement with Meta.
Okay. During your time with the company and working in this field, have you ever heard the statement that data centers increase electric rates for non-users or for other customer classes that don't directly use or benefit the data center?
I've not heard it in my professional career. I've seen it in the newspapers and such, but
Okay.
not through my work. No.
Right. But and I'm glad. Thank you for sharing that. That you've seen it in the newspapers, because I have too. Based on your testimony here today, it doesn't appear that this project would raise residential rates for Central or for anyone, considering that Silicon Ranch is paying for the generation facility and for the substation. Is that a fair statement?
I believe so, sir. We're just on the generation side, so the utilities are really the ones who are who set the rates, obviously. So, to my limited understanding, I believe that's correct.
Right. And that's fine. I'm not trying to get you to testify outside of your bailiwick, but it seems pretty clear, and I want to make the point that you all are paying for the generation facility and the substation.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Commissioner Caston.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
For the project, the duration of this project, what is the life expectancy of your solar facility?
We build our sites to the highest standards, sir. We own and operate them, so we have to make sure that they are built well, and that is to 40 years. They're built to a 40-year useful life.
And I noticed, in your testimony, you talk about the $5 million in property tax revenue over the life of the project. Is that over a 40-year period?
So that is really calculated from our fee in lieu agreement with the county. So that is not really over the entire 40 years. It's hard to project over a 40-year period, but that's what we know that they will receive. So they will receive over $5 million through the
So it's over the life of the fee in lieu of taxes agreement, however long that is.
Yeah. It'll be, and that agreement is, I believe, 20 years. So they will receive over $5 million over that time period, over the lifetime of the project.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Eccles.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Caston. Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Chair Powers. Good morning.
Good morning.
Has this project, has Cordova gotten all of their construction permits from Orangeburg County?
We have not. We are in process of getting those.
Any challenges there?
We have not had any challenges thus far.
And it's your intention to get all of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in process. We've submitted for our site plan approval, and we expect that in the next few weeks.
Okay. And then in your testimony, this is a curiosity thing. I believe you, perhaps it was maybe Miss Wade. Never mind about that one. Okay. And then this also may be one you want to punt, but when you talk about selling the energy to Central, I wondered how, this also is a curiosity, because I think the issue is going to relate to Meta and their use of clean energy and wanting to provide their own energy. And the question I'm trying to get at is, are you aware of how Central is dealing with the obligation to serve to Meta? But as I asked that question out loud, I realized I've just told everybody my curiosity, but it's not probably anything you could testify to.
No, ma'am, I cannot.
I understand. Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Just a couple of things, Mr. Eccles, I'd like to talk about.
Yes, sir.
You of course can't respond as far as what exactly Central Electric's plans are, but they are certainly in their IRP plan. You understand that, of course.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How does battery storage, has there been any talk about battery storage either on your end or Central Electric's end that could benefit, you know, when we have these summer days, these hot days, and the power may or may not be needed? How does battery storage fit into your plans or into Central Electric's, if you know?
Sir, there's no battery storage plan for this project at this time. It could always be added later to a project, but there's no agreement in place or no current development of battery storage on this project.
Okay. You say it can be done. That means you would have significant property or sufficient property should you decide to add battery storage?
Yes, sir, we'd have to have the space for it on the property. I'm not sure if we do have the space, honestly, but we'd have to have the space or maybe expand the footprint some to
And
allow for it.
you have the transformers, everything else needed.
The
Or you could
parts of the interconnection are maybe in place, but we don't have any equipment procured or any plans for BESS, battery energy storage.
Can you testify as to Central Electric's plans for battery storage?
I cannot.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Can I follow up to that?
Commissioner Cass.
And this is just for my edification or education.
Yes, sir.
You said, you know, battery storage could be added possibly.
It could be added. Yes, sir.
And other than the, you know, acreage that may or may not be required, if the facility is designed for 100 megawatts and that is what the contract is with, would that have to be modified to compensate for charging of the storage?
Yes, sir. The contract would have to be modified, and there would have to be a separate interconnection application for the battery energy system with Santee Cooper.
All right, I think that answered the question. I want to make sure. In other words, instead of 100 megawatts, would it have to be 100 plus something to adequately?
I believe so, sir, but I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, Commissioner Cass. Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. This is really quick. In our state law, there's another set of requirements where a construction project exceeds $500 million. Do you meet that category or not?
No, ma'am. This project is not a $500 million project.
Thank you. Just good to have that for the record.
Of course.
Thank you. No further questions.
Commissioner Britt.
One last question, Mr. Eccles. Of the 1,209 acres, how many acres will you all actually have the solar panels on?
It'll be less than 800, probably closer to 600. Sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Britt. Any redirect?
Mr. Chair?
No, sir.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
I have one quick question.
Yes,
Council.
sir. Go ahead.
What happens at the end of life for this facility? 40 years from now, could you walk me through what the company, and maybe more than one option, the options available to the company in 40 years for the facility?
Yes, sir. So we actually have per Orangeburg County, we have a decommissioning plan we have to file with them, and that lays out exactly how we will remove all the components from the site and restore the ground to what it was similar to before. There's also a decommissioning security we have to put in place for the county.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. That makes me think of an abandoned drive-in movie theater. I don't think there's anything sadder looking than something like that, and that's not what we're talking about here.
No, sir.
Okay. Anything further, Mr. Adams?
No, sir. And just out of an abundance of caution, we're going to have Mr. Eccles stick around for the day, so we're not asking that he be excused.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to let my Raleigh office colleague, Robert Josie, put up the next two witnesses, so I'll let him step up. And this is his maiden voyage at this commission, but he's done a ton of these at the North Carolina Commission.
We will be nice.
Sure. I'm sure.
Please.
Thank you.
All right, the applicant calls Blair Wade to testify.
Would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you'll give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Wade. Could you please state your name and business address for the record?
My name is Blair Wade, and our business address is HDR Engineering, 4400 Leeds Avenue, Suite 450, North Charleston, South Carolina, 29405.
So where do you work?
I work at HDR Engineering.
Thank you. And what are your responsibilities at HDR?
I am officer of the company, associate vice president, and our South Carolina Resources Business Group manager. I'm a principal in charge and project manager on environmental projects throughout the Southeast.
And can you quickly describe your work with HDR?
Yes, I manage permitting and environmental studies primarily for renewable energy projects throughout the Southeast, but other types of infrastructure projects as well.
And what is your professional and educational background?
My educational background is that I have a Bachelor of Science in Integrated Science and Technology with a focus on environmental science and GIS from James Madison University. I also have a Master's of Environmental Management from Duke University. My 21 years of experience has focused on environmental permitting as well as environmental assessment under the National Environmental Policy Act.
Okay, and is all of this contained in the CV that's attached to your testimony?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. Do you consider yourself an expert in this field?
Yes, I do.
Chair Powers, we would proffer Ms. Wade as an expert.
An expert in what?
In environmental impacts of renewable energy facilities.
All right. Any objection from ORS?
No, sir.
All right, then we'll accept her as an expert in environmental projects.
Okay. And Ms. Wade, are you the same Blair Wade who caused direct testimony to be pre-filed in this proceeding on or about October 15th, 2025, consisting of 14 pages and 7 exhibits?
Yes, I am.
Was your testimony prepared by you or under your direction?
Yes, it was.
And do you have any corrections or changes to your testimony?
No, I do not.
Okay. Ms. Wade, if I asked you now the same questions that are set forth in your pre-filed direct testimony, would your answers from the stand be the same today?
Yes, with one exception to page 9 of my testimony, which is related to the approved jurisdictional determination of the wetland boundaries on the site. That was pending at the time of my testimony and has now since been approved by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. We have also filed our permit applications with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers as well as the South Carolina Department of Environmental Services.
Chair Powers, the applicant asked that the pre-filed direct testimony of Blair Wade be entered into the record as if given orally from the stand.
The pre-filed direct testimony of Ms. Blair Wade will be entered into the record as if given orally from the stand.
Okay, and the applicant also asked that the exhibits referred to and incorporated in Ms. Wade's pre-filed direct testimony be marked for identification as pre-filed. And I can go through those exhibits if you'd like.
We can do them all as one.
Okay.
How do you have them listed?
I have them listed out individually, but we can just enter all 7 into the record.
Okay, so it would be Blair Wade exhibit 1 through 7?
1 through 7, yes, sir.
All right. The pre-filed exhibits of witness Wade identified as exhibits Blair Wade exhibits 1 through 7 are marked for identification and placed in the record as exhibit number 8.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask counsel to provide a corrected page where Ms. Wade corrected her pre-filed testimony, that they submit a corrected page?
Certainly.
After the hearing, please?
We can.
It just has to be the corrected page. It
Yes,
doesn't have to be the whole
we
thing.
need a corrected version.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Wade, have you prepared a summary of your pre-filed direct testimony?
Yes, I have.
Please provide that summary to the commission.
Good morning, Chair Powers and members of the Commission. I am providing testimony in support of Silicon Ranch's application for a Certificate of Environmental Compatibility and Public Convenience and Necessity for a solar photovoltaic project to be located in Orangeburg County, South Carolina. My testimony demonstrates that the SR Cordova project meets the key statutory requirements for issuing a CEC PCN. In particular, I focus on the environmental elements described in South Carolina Code Title 58, Chapter 33. First, I discuss studies which have been made by or for the applicant concerning the environmental impact of the project. Second, I also address the findings of those studies and of the project's compliance with environmental laws. Based on the minimized environmental effects of the project and our agency coordination, I anticipate the applicant will successfully obtain all permits. A little bit about me. I'm an Associate Vice President and Resources Business Group Manager for HDR Engineering, or HDR. I and HDR have been providing environmental services for the proposed Cordova solar project. In addition to my education, I have 21 years of experience in environmental permitting and natural resources planning. My practice has an emphasis on working with renewable energy projects throughout the Southeast. A copy of my CV is provided as part of pre-filed direct testimony. As you have already heard, the Cordova site encompasses approximately 1,209 acres in Orangeburg County, South Carolina. Based on historic aerial imagery and U.S. Geological Service topographic maps, the project site has been in silviculture, clear cutting, and agriculture for over 50 years, including being timbered in 2023. The applicant, with the assistance of HDR, has performed the environmental assessments, studies, and analyses, and consulted with federal and state environmental agencies as set forth in the exhibits to my pre-filed testimony. As indicated in the permit matrix attached to the application as Exhibit H and to my testimony as Exhibit 3, the following required federal and state environmental permits, consultations, and certifications will be necessary. Clean Water Act 404 permit from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Clean Water Act Section 401 Water Quality Certification from the South Carolina Department of Environmental Services, National Historic Preservation Act Section 106 consultation with the South Carolina Department of Archives and History, Endangered Species Act Section 7 consultation with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, Clean Water Act National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System General Permit for Stormwater Discharges from Construction Activities, also known as SCR 100000, inclusive of the requirements of Stormwater Management and Sediment Reduction Act, administered by the South Carolina Department of Environmental Services. Impacts to wetlands and streams have been minimized to meet general and regional conditions under the nationwide permit program and South Carolina DES general permit. HDR also conducted a review of cultural resources for the proposed site and found that there are no historic properties listed on the National Register of Historic Properties within a 1-mile radius of the project site. During field studies, a small family cemetery was identified on a state road adjacent to the project site. Ground disturbance near the cemetery will be avoided within a 50-foot buffer around the boundary of the cemetery. Based on a desktop review, there is a moderate to high probability for archaeological resources within the project site. However, that does not necessarily indicate that cultural resources are present, especially given the site's historical activity, including silviculture, clear cutting, and agriculture. If any archaeological sites or remnants are discovered during the project's development, Cordova would stop work, notify the Department of Archives and History, and work with the department to develop a mitigation plan to avoid disturbance or achieve recovery. Section 106 consultation will occur during the Clean Water Act 404 permitting. Any potential impacts to historic resources would be negligible. Suitable habitats for several federal endangered species or state-listed species were identified on the project site. Some of these habitats are within wetlands and would be avoided. For the others, Cordova plans to follow conservation measures to the extent practicable and continues to consult with the appropriate federal and state agencies to mitigate impacts to these species, including, including restricting clearing activities during certain times of the year. In response to a recommendation from South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, HDR also conducted a review of potential impacts to the federally listed sturgeon in the North Fork of the Edisto River, finding no potential for effect that would require consultation with the National Marine Fisheries Service. HDR also conducted a Phase 1 environmental site assessment and did not identify the presence of any hazardous substances or petroleum products that could affect human health, the environment, or the value of the property within the project site. Based on the minimal environmental impacts, I believe there are no conditions which should adversely affect the project's ability to obtain all permits needed to maintain environmental compliance. Potential impacts are well understood and will be mitigated in accordance with regulatory requirements. Also, my testimony shows that the project will have several environmental benefits and additional buffer vegetation will be planted to minimize visual or wildlife impacts. As demonstrated in the environmental studies and agency coordination, which includes avoidance and minimization measures, the project is not expected to result in any significant environmental impacts.
Chair Powers, Cordova witness Blair Wade is available for cross-examination and commission questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Questions from ORS?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
All right, Commissioner questions. Commissioner Belser.
Good morning, Ms. Wade. Thank you for being here. I just have a few questions about the Riley Cemetery. It looks like it's bounded on one side by a paved road, and then I think your report or the attachment was at A said other dirt roads on other sides.
Yes, it is bounded on one side by a public state road, which provides access to the cemetery.
Okay, and it looked like from the map that maybe a portion, half of it might be within the boundary of and maybe half out within
It's entirely within an out
Okay.
parcel, but since it's surrounded on three sides by the Cordova project, as a minimization measure, the applicant has agreed to a 50-foot buffer around the edge of that out parcel.
Okay, there won't be a fence from the project within that 50-foot buffer, would there?
There would not.
Okay, I was just curious. And I think the report said that family members would be able to visit with permission of the landowner or something.
The family could continue to access the cemetery from the state road. There would be no impacts to access.
From the pictures, it didn't look like it's being actively used now as a.
Not to my understanding.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Belser. Commissioner Caston.
Thank you, and good morning.
Good morning.
Relative to in the event there are archaeological discoveries or finds or anything uncovered, you said the appropriate authorities would be notified. Will someone be there, or will this be the contractor that's doing this? Will he be informed enough or confident enough to be able to do that?
There is a condition that is typically included in our U.S. Army Corps of Engineer permits related to stop work if archaeological resource is identified. We anticipate that condition to be part of our upcoming permit application. So the contractor would be responsible for identifying that a resource was found and then notifying the South Carolina Department of Archives and History.
Understand that. But it will be pretty much exclusively up to the contractor to do that or catch it and notify
That's
the appropriate
correct.
folks. And does Cordova, HDR, will anyone be doing on-site construction inspections and such as that?
The contractor, as well as the applicant, does conduct environmental compliance as part of the construction.
Okay. Thank you.
So when construction starts, you're pretty much finished. Is that as far as your role?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, and would it be fair to say this cemetery is historical?
No, sir.
It's still in use?
The cemetery is protected under different regulations than under the Department of Archives and History.
Okay.
So cemeteries are not always necessarily historic.
All right. And you described the land as agriculture. Was this more than one farm, or do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. When you have to stop for something like a historical review, or how long does it take? How quickly does you get a response for something like that?
Typically, it requires time to assess if a resource has been found and whether it's significant or not. The South Carolina Department of Archives and History typically has a 30-day response time, but I'm not sure what their response time would be in a specific situation.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Britt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Ms. Wade.
Morning.
You mentioned wildlife, and again, this is my first opportunity with a solar farm, that I've sat and listened and been able to ask questions. So it's very interesting to me to learn a lot about this process and these projects. Will there be a fence around the 1,209 acres?
There will be a fence, but it's around the solar arrays, so it's not around the entire 1,209 acres. We also make efforts to really just fence around the arrays and leave corridors open, particularly in the wetland corridors that are being avoided, and around the perimeter of the site, which allows for wildlife passage. Silicon Ranch, their specification for fencing is also a wildlife friendly fence that allows for small mammals to move beneath the fence and into the array system.
All right, thanks. And as Mr. Eccles said, they may be only using 600 to 800 acres of the 1,209, so that's helpful.
That's right.
Thank you, Commissioner Britt. Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Chair Powers. Good morning.
Good morning.
Quick question. What I noticed in your testimony was a reference to a 30% design plan. Could you explain what that is?
It's a conceptual plan of the solar layout and access roads and attendant features. Typically, when design is prepared, we do a 30% plan, a 60% plan, and then what's called an issued for permit set of plans. So the design gets progressively more detailed.
And has it gotten more detailed since that reference?
It has.
Do you know at what level it is?
The permit application to DES for stormwater has been submitted, so it's at the issued for permit.
Okay. So it's
design level.
Right. Is that 100% or very close?
Issued for construction is technically 100%. So
okay.
Pending if we get any comments from Department of Environmental Services, we would go to that stage of the plans.
Understood. Thank you very much for the clarification. Yeah. No further questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
So you had mentioned some potential environmental benefits, and just like to hear you discuss that a little bit.
Yes, sir. As Mr. Kisber and Mr. Eccles have mentioned, Silicon Ranch has a regenerative approach to land, and oftentimes when land has been in agricultural silviculture, it's been it's been maintained in a certain way for 50 plus years. Their approach to soil management and also the use of native plant species, vegetative coverage is intended to benefit the soil qualities on the land. I've also mentioned some of the wildlife corridors that would be maintained along the property and the vegetative buffers as well.
And when the project is operational, and you're saying the plants, vegetation, whatever will be small, won't get tall, won't get in the way, or is there a plan for maintaining to make sure that they don't?
The vegetation within the solar arrays does need to be maintained, or else it would, grow up and then impact the solar panels themselves and their ability to produce power. So Silicon Ranch does use a vegetation maintenance program, which can be a combination of mowing, which the frequency of that depends on the length of the growing season, and also use of what's called agrovoltaics. So, bringing in sheep grazing to maintain vegetation under the panels.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Is there any further commissioner questions? Is there any redirect, Mr. Josie?
Just very briefly, Chair Powers. Ms. Wade, Commissioner Britt mentioned some wildlife impacts and things like that. Have you or has HDR and Silicon Ranch been in contact with SC DNR?
Yes. We have had coordination with South Carolina Department of Natural Resources several times over the course of the project development. We typically submit the project early in development to get their initial comments on the potential for threatened and endangered species impacts as well as wildlife impacts. We have since had regular communication with South Carolina DNR on ways that we can further minimize impacts to species and are taking all of those conservation measures into account with the project design.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you very much. I think we're a little more than, probably more than halfway in this thing. Could we take about a 10-minute break and come back at 11:20, and then we'll take your virtual witness at that time?
All right. Sounds good to me. Thanks.
All right, we're in recess till 11:20. Thank you. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning again, and welcome back to the South Carolina Public Service Commission. We are continuing the hearing on 2025-2276-8, application of SR Cordova for Certificate of Environmental Compatibility and Public Convenience and Necessity for construction and operation of a 100 megawatt solar facility in Orangeburg, South Carolina. All commissioners are here in the hearing room. It's my understanding that the company has one more witness that it will be virtual. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Could we bring Connor Eccles back up for literally 2 minutes just to clarify one point that y'all asked Blair about, but I think he can answer. He could explain that contractor, how they manage contractors, that whole process. It would take 2 minutes for him to explain it.
So you want to put her back up?
I'm going to put Connor Eccles up to explain that.
Oh, okay.
If that's okay.
That's fine.
Yes, sir.
Come back up, Mr. Eccles. You're still under oath.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. Yeah, so Mr. Eccles, the discussion that Blair was having with the commissioners around how you manage contractors and environmental issues and the interaction between Silicon Ranch and the contractors, maybe you could sort of give a little further detail on that.
Yeah, in particular, if there's a culturally sensitive item found on site, we always have someone from Silicon Ranch on the project site during construction or even post. So we do have protocols in place. If the contractor finds something of interest or concern, they go to our site manager, and our site manager reaches out to our staff, who then go and speak to and coordinate with the appropriate agencies and consultants to address that issue. So we do have protocols in place if anything is found. It's not just the kind of up to the contractor. The contractor may identify the issue, but it is always run through Silicon Ranch, as it is our project.
Thank you, Mr. Eccles. Anything from ORS as a result of the added testimony?
Nothing from ORS, Chair Powers.
Anything from any commissioner based on the added testimony? All right, thank you very much. You may step down.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The applicant, Cordova, calls Matthew W. Tanner to testify. Dr. Tanner is testifying remotely.
All right. Mr. Tanner, are you there? There you are.
I am. I hope you can hear me. Good morning.
Can hear you just fine. Can you hear me okay?
I can. It's great.
All right. If you would, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. Your witness.
Thank you, Chair Powers. Please state your name and business address for the record.
It is Matthew Tanner at 1800 M Street Northwest, Washington, D.C. 20036.
And where do you work?
I work at Berkeley Research Group, also known as BRG.
Okay. Quickly, can you describe the work of BRG?
BRG is a consultancy that works in energy, construction, healthcare, corporate finance, cybersecurity, and things like that.
Okay. What is your professional background in education?
So I have been working in the power sector at BRG for the last 5 years, and before that at a company called Guidehouse, which was called Navigant before a merger for 10 years before that. And the 2 years before that, or 2.5 years, I was working at the Energy Information Administration at the U.S. Department of Energy. Prior to starting my professional career, I got a PhD in industrial engineering at Texas A&M University in 2009, and I received a bachelor's in operations research at Princeton University in 2004.
Is all of this information contained in the CV that you filed with your testimony?
It is.
Okay. Do you consider yourself an expert in the field of generation resource planning and technologies?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Chair Powers, we would proffer this witness, Dr. Tanner, as an expert in generation resource planning and technologies.
Any objection?
Objection from ORS.
Hearing none, then he will be qualified as an expert.
Thank you. Dr. Tanner, have you, did you cause to be filed direct testimony in this proceeding on or about October 15th, 2025, consisting of 15 pages and one exhibit?
I did.
And was the testimony prepared by you or under your direction?
Yes.
Do you have any corrections or changes to your testimony?
I do not.
Dr. Tanner, if I now asked you the same questions that are set forth in your pre-filed direct testimony, would your answers from the stand be the same today?
Yes, they would.
Okay. Chair Powers, the applicant asks that the pre-filed direct testimony of Dr. Tanner be entered into the record as if given orally from the stand.
The pre-filed direct testimony of Dr. Tanner will be entered into the record as if given orally from the stand.
Thank you. And the applicant also asked that his one exhibit referred to and incorporated in Dr. Tanner's pre-filed direct testimony be admitted into evidence and his exhibit 1 be marked for identification.
All right. The pre-filed exhibit of witness Tanner identified as 1B. Is that what you said?
It's just exhibit 1.
Okay.
Two.
Exhibit 1 of Matt Tanner is entered into the record as exhibit number 9.
And at this point in time, the applicant would also offer to put the 2023 Central Electric Power Cooperative IRP into the record. It is cited several times in Dr. Tanner's testimony as well as ORS's testimony. We can file it as a late filed exhibit if you prefer that, or we can offer it now. And I have copies if you'd like.
Is that done with their permission, or has there been any discussion with Central?
With Central? No, but it's a publicly available document. So.
All right. Any objection from ORS?
No objection, Chair Powers.
All right. I guess it'd be easier at this point if you can do it fairly quickly to do it as a late filed exhibit. Excuse me. Do you have copies with you?
I have copies with me. Yes, sir.
Since you have copies with you, we'll go ahead and accept it as exhibit number 10.
Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Tanner, have you prepared a summary of your pre-filed testimony?
I have.
Could you please provide that to the commission now?
Yes. Good morning, Chair Powers and members of the commission. I am providing testimony in support of Silicon Ranch's application for a Certificate of Environmental Compatibility and Public Convenience and Necessity for a solar photovoltaic project to be located in Orangeburg County, South Carolina. My testimony demonstrates that the Cordova project meets key statutory requirements for issuing a CEC PCN. I focus on 3 elements described in South Carolina Code Title 58, Chapter 33. First, I discuss the basis of the need for the facility. Second, I address the project's contribution to system economy. And third, I discuss how the project serves the interest of system reliability. I will address each of these 3 areas in summary now. Beginning with the need for the facility, Cordova already has a signed PPA to sell the output of the facility to Central Electric Power Cooperative. Further, there is demand for solar energy in South Carolina. Specifically, Central's 2023 IRP projects that Central will need to serve approximately 9,300 gigawatt hours of new load in the planning horizon, This projection did not include the significant increase in load due to increased industrial demand, including data centers. To meet that growing demand, Central's IRP grows the amount of renewable energy, including solar, in its least cost portfolio from 8% in 2024 to 20% by 2033. Turning to the topic of system economy, my testimony concludes that the Cordova project improves the economic performance of the Santee Cooper and Central systems. I discussed the Central and Santee Cooper IRPs that compare alternative resource plans using industry standard software tools, as well as sensitivity analyses that tested the plans across a range of potential future conditions. These economic analyses found that adding solar PV is part of a cost-effective mix of resources for meeting customer demand. Further, granting the Cordova project a CEC PCN will allow Silicon Ranch and Central to realize the economic benefits of the expiring Inflation Reduction Act tax credits, which will not be available to future solar projects. My testimony also concludes that the Cordova project serves the interest of system reliability. I draw on detailed reliability analyses conducted as part of the Santee Cooper and Central resource planning efforts. First, both utilities employ reserve margin constraints in their studies that ensured that the alternative plans evaluated are capable of meeting peak demand each year, even under abnormally high load conditions or with forced outages at generating units. This analysis was completed on the plans the utilities selected, which features significant solar PV additions. Second, the utilities also found that hourly solar variability from the amount of solar evaluated would not adversely impact system reliability. For example, Central's IRP incorporates the effective load carrying capacity, or ELCC analysis, conducted for the Santee Cooper 2023 IRP. This ELCC analysis shows that while solar generation does not produce much during winter peaks, it delivers significant value by reducing fuel costs and enhancing resource diversity. These findings are also consistent with industry experience, again both regionally and nationally, demonstrating that modest levels of solar PV do not pose substantial reliability challenges. In summary, my testimony demonstrates that there is a need for the Cordova project in South Carolina, that the project has been compared to other generation options in terms of cost and reliability, and that they serve the interests of system economy and reliability. I believe that the public convenience and necessity require the construction of this project, and I recommend that the Commission grant Cordova a CEC PCN. Chair Powers and Commissioners, this concludes my testimony summary, and I'm happy to address any questions the parties or the Commission may have.
Chair Powers, Cordova witness Dr. Tanner is available for cross-examination and questions from the Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Josie. Any questions from the ORS?
No questions from ORS, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner questions? Commissioner Brett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Tanner, appreciate you being with us today, and also your background in energy of all sorts. I think you're probably the best person to answer my question here. Will this project's 100 megawatts of generated power serve all the needs of the Meta data center facility in Aiken?
My understanding is the Meta facility is a 500 megawatt data center, in which case this is part of the energy production for it, but it would not serve all of it.
All right. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Brett. Any further commissioner questions? Hearing none, any redirect? All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Tanner. You may step down.
Thank you.
Yeah, we rest, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Office of Regulatory Staff.
Chair Powers, ORS calls James Finley Salter and Kiba M. Kemp to the stand.
Come forward.
Would you both please raise your right hands? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you'll give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Salter. Please state your full name for the record.
James Finley Salter.
By whom are you employed and in what capacity?
I'm employed by the state of South Carolina as the Deputy Director of Energy Planning and Emerging Technology Division for the Office of Regulatory Staff.
Mr. Salter, did you file or cause to be filed 7 pages of direct testimony in this proceeding on December 12th, 2025?
Yes, I did.
Do you have any changes or corrections to your pre-filed direct testimony?
No, I do not.
If I asked you the same questions posed in your direct testimony today, would your answers be the same?
Yes, they would.
Chair Powers, I ask that Mr. Salter's pre-filed direct testimony be entered into the record of this proceeding as if given orally from the stand.
The pre-filed direct testimony of Mr. Salters will be entered into the record as if given orally from the stand.
Mr. Salter, did you prepare a summary of your testimony today?
Yes, I did.
Would you please present your summary to the commission?
Chair Powers, Vice Chair Williams, and members of the commission. The purpose of my testimony is to set forth and support ORS's recommendations resulting from the examination and review of the application of SR Cordova LLC, Cordova or the company, for a certificate of environmental compatibility and public convenience and necessity filed on October 15th, 2025, to construct and operate the 100 megawatt alternating current solar voltaic project to be located in Orangeburg County, referred to as the proposed solar facility or the proposed project. My review focused on the basis for the need of the proposed solar facility and whether the proposed solar facility will serve the interest of system economy and reliability. The company has entered into a 100 megawatt AC renewable energy purchase agreement with Central for the production of energy and renewable energy credits, also known as RECs, from the proposed solar facility. This agreement specifies that the proposed solar facility will provide fixed pricing and all energy and RECs from the proposed solar facility will be delivered to Central for the benefit of Meta's Aiken data center. Additionally, the company stated in its application that procuring renewable energy contributes to the diversity of Central's energy portfolio. Central evaluated the addition of solar resources on its system as part of the IRP planning process, which included system economy and reliability considerations. The 2023 Central IRP selected substantial solar resource additions through the study period, including 200 megawatts of utility-scale solar added in 2028, with another 400 megawatts added in 2030. Based on the information provided by the company, ORS concluded the proposed solar facility may serve the interest of system economy and reliability. That concludes my summary.
Thank you, Mr. Salter. Good morning, Ms. Kemp. Please state your full name for the record.
Good morning. My name is Kiba M. Kemp.
By whom are you employed and in what capacity?
I am employed by the state of South Carolina as a regulatory analyst in the Energy Operations Division for the Office of Regulatory Staff.
Ms. Kemp, did you file or cause to be filed 9 pages of direct testimony in both public disclosure and confidential versions in this proceeding on December 12, 2025?
Yes.
Do you have any changes or corrections to your pre-filed direct testimony?
No, I do not.
If I asked you the same questions posed in your direct testimony today, would your answers be the same?
Yes.
Chair Powers, I ask that Ms. Kemp's pre-filed direct testimony be entered into the record of this proceeding as if given orally from the stand, and that the confidential version of her pre-filed direct testimony remain under seal with the commission.
The pre-filed direct testimony of Ms. Kemp, both the confidential and standard version will be entered in the record as if given orally from the stand. The confidential version of the testimony will remain confidential unless or until the commission rules that such information is not entitled to protection from public disclosure, or if the requesting party agrees that such information is no longer confidential or proprietary.
Thank you. Ms. Kemp, did you prepare a summary of your testimony today?
Yes, I did.
Would you please present your summary to the commission?
Good morning, Chair Powers, Vice Chair Williams, and members of the commission. My testimony provides the results of ORS's examination and review of SR Cordova LLC, Cordova's application for a certificate of environmental compatibility and public convenience and necessity for the construction and operation of a 100 megawatt solar PV generating facility or project. My review focused specifically on the nature of the probable environmental impact of the project, whether the impact of the project upon the environment is justified, the reasonable assurances that the project will conform to applicable state and local laws and regulations, and whether the public convenience and necessity requires the construction of the project. Based on the information provided by Cordova, ORS understands the project may result in minimal environmental impact and, addressed by ORS witness Salter, may serve the interests of system economy and reliability. Further, ORS does not oppose a finding that the project will serve the public convenience and necessity. ORS recommended that Cordova file quarterly updates with the Commission and ORS on the construction of the project, completion of the project, and by date of commercial operation by letter dated January 6, 2026, Cordova did consent to filing such updates. This concludes my summary.
Chair Powers, these witnesses are available for questions from the commission.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the company?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
All right, commissioner questions.
I do just have one, I guess. Ms. Kemp, I think in your testimony, you said whenever you had your pre-filed testimony, there had been no public comments to date. To your knowledge, have there been any public comments to date?
I checked this morning, no public comments.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any further commissioner questions? Vice Chair Williams?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Mr. Salter and Ms. Kemp. Question for both of you all, and however you like to answer or elaborate, I welcome that. To your knowledge, based on your review, is there the possibility of any cost shift associated with the construction of this facility?
Based on our review, we have not identified what we've seen to date.
We reviewed the application. We did not look at cost shift.
Okay. And so I'll just take that as if you would have seen something, you would have said something. Hadn't seen anything, so there's nothing significant to report.
Yeah, based on our review, we don't have any concerns at this time.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. One question maybe either one of you could answer. There's been talk about the Inflation Reduction Act. Is there a date that that's going in or that you're aware of?
The Inflation Reduction Act, or
yes, the testimony was that this allows tax credits at this time, and that the Inflation Reduction Act could or will end. Was that something that you looked into when reviewing this?
Yes, Commissioner. Based on our review, we confirmed that the company intends to enter commercial operation by the time that those tax credits would expire, so they should be eligible to take advantage of this.
Okay, and there's you don't know when this tax credit or program could end or be withdrawn?
My understanding is the tax credits in question, subject to check, would be by the end of 2027.
Okay.
Facilities need to be commercial operation.
That's what I was looking for. Thank you very much. Any further commissioner questions? Hearing none, any redirect?
No, Chair Powers. This concludes ORS's case.
Thank you, Ms. Bench. Thank you. Witnesses, anything further from ORS?
No, Chair Powers.
All right. Anything further from the company? All right.
we're confident that we've got all the evidence in the record, but I just thought I would check with Ms. Clausen. Is there anything else you need from us?
All right, I'll have her meet with y'all as soon as we adjourn, and hope everyone has a good rest of the week, and we are adjourned.
And Mr. Chairman, I'll just add one last note.
excuse me.
We will late file that corrected page 9 of Ms. Wade's testimony, so we'll get that late filed.
All right, that would be exhibit number 11. Just corrected, okay. That would not be a different.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.